Mangita and Larina story in English. Once upon a time in a lake town known as Luzon there lived a fisherman who had two daughters, Mangita and Larina. Mangita, the elder sister, was widely known for her kind and loving nature towards everyone around her. In stark contrast, her younger sister Larina embodied the opposite of Mangita in every conceivable way. Larina was often mean to others, found enjoyment in catching butterflies and imprisoning them in bottles, and frequently spoke rudely to Mangita. Mangita, on the other hand, diligently carried out all the household chores, ensuring that food was prepared so that when their father returned home from his daily work hungry and exhausted, his meal would be ready to eat, and his bed would be made for him to sleep. Larina offered no assistance to her sister and showed little concern for their father. Instead, she spent her time by the lake combing her hair and gazing at her own reflection, often speaking to herself, wondering if she was the most beautiful girl in town. She would confidently answer that there was no one more beautiful than her in the entire kingdom, let alone their small poor town. A grave change befell their family when one day the fisherman fell very ill and tragically passed away. Mangita was absolutely devastated by this loss, crying and weeping for hours. However, she soon realized that the weighty responsibility of her family now rested entirely on her shoulders. Gaining her composure, she decided it was time to speak with Larina about her new decision. Larina, true to her habits, was found sitting by the lake, engrossed in her looks. Mangita approached her, stating she needed to talk about something important. Larina's immediate response was dismissive, telling her to go away because she was busy. Mangita reassured her that she would not take much of her time, prompting Larina to ask what it was. Mangita then explained that since their father was no longer with them, they had no one earning for them, and therefore she had decided to go sell fish in the market every day. She admitted she did not know if it would be enough, but promised to try her best. Larina's response was a nonchalant whatever and a demand to be left alone. Mangita, hurt by her sister's unkindness, reminded Larina that she loved her. Larina coldly retorted that she did not need her sister's love, declaring she was born in the wrong family. Larina then asserted her belief that things would not always remain the same, as she was destined to become a queen one day and leave behind the miserable town and everyone in it, convinced that her Prince Charming would come. Mangita responded with a sigh, expressing that she wished nothing but happiness for her little system. As days went by, Mangita worked tirelessly to ensure she and her sister could make ends meet. One day, she returned home with only a few coins and felt deeply concerned. She approached Larina, apologizing but explaining that her earnings were not enough to feed the two of them. She then asked Larina if she would help her sell fish. The next day, Larina reacted with disbelief, asking, What did you just say?" Mangita reiterated her request, emphasizing the need to make enough money for both of them and pleading for her help. Larina was outraged, declaring Mangita must be out of her mind and refusing to become a peasant as a future queen. When Mangita persisted, Larina cut her off abruptly, stating that's enough and proclaiming she was going to the lake. Mangita was very sad and sat down while Larina stepped out of the house. Outside, Larina encountered an old lady. Larina rudely questioned what the old woman wanted. The old woman explained she had walked for miles and asked if Larina would be kind enough to give her a loaf to eat and a little water to drink. Larina's response was sharp and contemptuous, asking, "Do I look like a servant to you?" before pushing the old woman out of her way and walking off. Hearing the old woman's cry, Mangita immediately came out of the house and was horrified to see the woman lying on the ground. Mangita quickly expressed her apologies, helped the old woman stand up, and brought her inside the house. The old woman then explained to Mangita how Larina had pushed her. Mangita was shocked and apologized again, affectionately calling the old woman grandmother and attempting to excuse her sister by saying she can sometimes be a little unkind. The old woman acknowledged that Mangita seemed to be the kinder one and reiterated her request for a little loaf to eat and water to drink, stating she would then be on her way. Mangita nodded and brought the old woman the only bread she had along with a glass of water. The old woman happily ate the bread and drank the water, thanking Mangita and calling her a kind soul. Before leaving that night, Mangita went to sleep on an empty stomach. A few days later, Mangita fell ill and became bedridden. Larina, as was her usual demeanor, did not care much. Mangita pleaded with Larina to go to the market and sell the fish, explaining that they had no savings to survive. La defiantly stated, "I am not going anywhere, I'm telling you for the last time," and stepped out of the house only to find the old woman again. Larina rudely asked what she wanted now. The old woman explained that Mangita was unwell and that she had brought some seeds that would help her recover. She asked to be let in so she could give Mangita a seed every hour and take care of her, assuring Larina that Mangita would be fine by morning. Larina gritted her teeth as she secretly did not want Mangita to recover. She pretended to smile and told the old woman she did not have to trouble herself, stating that Mangita was her sister and she would make sure she was taken care of if the old woman gave her the seeds. The old woman asked if she was sure, and Larina emphatically replied, "Oh, absolutely." Larina then took the bag of seeds from the old woman. That night, Mangita's fever worsened, and she could not sleep, tossing and turning in her bed, her eyes starting to turn yellow. Larina felt immense joy observing her sister's suffering. She did not mention the seeds even once and hid the bag under the bed. The next morning, when Larina woke up, she found Mangita waiting profusely. She smiled, and as she was about to leave the house, the old woman entered. Larina angrily questioned how she dared to enter their house without permission. The old woman smiled and snapped her fingers, instantly transforming into a handsome-looking man. Larina was astounded, exclaiming, "What, you are an angel." The man corrected her, stating, "I am no angel, I am a prince." He revealed himself as Prince Stephen of House Validom, possessing mystic powers, and explained that he had been searching for the kindest woman on earth to marry. He then declared he had finally found the right girl, provided she was happy, adding that he had waited a long time for this day, and suggested they go far away to live happily ever after. Larina, assuming he was speaking to her, excitedly shrieked, "Quiet, you wicked soul, I wasn't talking about you, Princess T." Fen then turned his gaze towards Mangita, who lay on the bed with her eyes closed, and closed his own eyes. Golden light surrounded his body, illuminating Mangita on the bed. As Larina watched in astonishment, soon Mangita opened her eyes and stood up, feeling perfectly all right. Prince Stephen opened his eyes and the golden light vanished. Mangita was dumbfounded, having no idea what was happening. Prince Stephen smiled and then explained everything to her, revealing that he had been watching over them all night and that her sister had not only failed to give her the seeds but had also prayed for her worst. Mangita was devastated to hear all of this. She turned towards her sister, asking, "Sister, why do you hate me so much?" Larina dismissively replied, "Oh, please, I don't have time for all this drama. Go away from here with your prince and let me be. I have never liked you and I never ever will." Tears rolled from Mangita's eyes, but Prince Stephen came forward to console her, telling her not to feel sad because Larina did not deserve her love and kindness. He urged Mangita to come with him to his kingdom, proposing to make her his wife if she would have him as her husband. Mangita hesitated, mentioning, "But she is my sister." The prince calmly stated that some people never change and it was best if she realized it now. Larina interjected, shouting, "Are YouTube done? This is getting tiring now." Seemingly breaking the fourth wall, Mangita looked at Prince Stephen and nodded. Prince Stephen snapped his fingers And the two vanished into thin air in a grand wedding. Mangita and Prince Stephen tied the knot and lived a happy and content life. Larina remained unchanged, continuing to be unkind and cruel towards others, not changing a bit. Mangita, however, secretly ensured that her sister received enough food without Larina's knowledge. Prince Stephen often laughed at Mangita's hope for her sister to change, repeating the observation, "Well, some people never change." Mangita would respond, believing her sister would. Change one day. Prince Stephen, clarifying, stated he was not talking about Larina but rather about Mangita and her unwavering faith in her sister. Analysis: the story of Mangita and Larina presents a stark contrast between two sisters, highlighting themes of kindness, selfishness, responsibility, and the immutable nature of some individuals. From the very beginning, the narrative establishes Mangita as the epitome of goodness, characterized by her kindness, love, and diligence in managing household chores and caring for her family, especially her father. Her selflessness is underscored by her consistent efforts to provide for her family, even going to bed on an empty stomach to ensure others were fed. This compassionate nature is further emphasized by her immediate response to the old woman's distress, offering help and her last piece of bread, a profound act of generosity despite her own hardship. Conversely, Larina embodies extreme narcissism and cruelty. Her obsession with her own beauty dominates her HTS, and her interactions with others are marked by disdain and rudeness. Her refusal to assist Mangita even after their father's death showcases her profound lack of empathy and responsibility. She views herself as destined for royalty, believing she is above mundane tasks or caring for her family. This delusion fuels her contempt for her sister and her current circumstances, leading her to believe that her struggles are a result of being born in the wrong family. Larina's malice escalates significantly when Mangita falls ill. Her joy at her sister's suffering and her deliberate withholding of the healing seeds demonstrate a truly wicked heart. Her actions are driven by pure spite, wishing ill upon the very person who cares for her. The narrative uses the magical transformation of the old woman into Prince Stephen as a pivotal moment, serving as a divine intervention that rewards Mangita's virtue and exposes Larina's true character. Prince Stephen's quest to find the kindest woman on earth. Directal Y validates Mangita's inherent goodness. The golden light that heals Mangita symbolizes purity and the divine favor bestowed upon her for her unwavering kindness. Larina's shock and subsequent unrepentant hatred underscore her inability to comprehend genuine love or selflessness despite Mangita's tearful plea for understanding and love. Larina's response is an unapologetic declaration of hatred, confirming her unchanging nature. The story concludes with Mangita finding happiness and a deserving life as a queen, fulfilling a destiny that Larina arrogantly claimed for herself. It is an ironic twist that the prince Larina fantasized about marrying ends up with the sister she despised. Larina's unchanging nature is highlighted multiple times throughout the narrative, culminating in the prince's observation that some people never change. Yet Mangita's continued hope and secret provision of food for Larina even after being wronged reinforce her deep-seated kindness and unwavering compassion even for those who do not deserve it. This demonstrates that while some individuals may never change their cruel ways, others maintain their capacity for love and forgiveness, reflecting the strength of their character. The story ultimately serves as a moral fable celebrating the virtues of kindness and selfless love, and illustrating that true reward comes not from external beauty or arrogant self-belief, but from the purity of one's heart and actions.